Mom's twins born different colors. 18 years later, this is what they look like. Most twins, when born, share similar traits, a fact often true for siblings as well. Sisters Haley and Lauren Durant are often asked to show ID, but it's usually to prove that they're really twins. For many people, just don't believe that the girls, one born white, the other black, could possibly have the same parents. But even more amazingly, they also have younger twin sisters with the same varied coloring, making them all a 1 in a million family. Today, on the older sister's 18th birthday, they reveal how they're best friends, share the same clothes, still live in the same bedroom, hate being apart, and never get bored of people's stunned reactions when they say that they're twins. In their first ever exclusive interview, Haley, who has dark skin and hair like her dad Dean, said some people can really be rude. They'll say, "You're lying, you aren't twins, prove it." So we'll reel off the same address or pull out our passports. It's nice to see the shock on people's faces. When we went to college, it was difficult because we're lots of groups of Asian, white, and black kids. The black group were trying to integrate me, and I was like, "This is my white twin sister." No one could believe it. People look at us like it's some kind of miracle. I'm still amazed that we're twins. Lauren, who has her mother Allison Spooner's green eyes and fair hair, said, "People just assume we're best friends rather than sisters, let alone twins." I'm happy with that because she's my best friend. We're going to go out clubbing together. The bouncers are going to get a shock when they see that we're related. The pair amazed doctors when they were born in early 2001, looking so different, at odds of just 1 in 500,000. But in a further remarkable twist, 7 years later they found their way into the Guinness World Record book when their younger twin sisters, Leah and Maya, who are now 10, were also born with one white-skinned and the other with darker complexion. They remain the world's only 2 sets of twins in one family with different skin tones. Mom Allison, a 37-year-old office manager, said, "I can't believe my miracle babies are turning 18. They are best friends and close in every way, apart from looking different. It took me some years to understand the science of how they could appear so different. All the time people say, 'They're not twins.' One lady at the doctor's once said, 'I just assumed one was yours and the other was her friend.' They were never really bullied, though there were some nasty comments initially. Kids at school used to ask, 'How come one of you is milk chocolate and the other one is white chocolate?' The girls used to say, 'It doesn't matter, we're sisters and best friends.' I was so proud of them. They're now more of a phenomenon with their friends. Their school used to have a big picture of them in biology class. No one could understand or believe it. It's rare enough for 2 sets of twins to be born to the same parents, but the chances of them inheriting different skin and hair color from their mother and father are just 1 in a million. The genetic phenomenon only happens when 2 separate eggs are fertilized by different sperm, unlike identical twins who share their genetic makeup, having been conceived from one fertilized egg that splits to form 2 embryos. Haley and Lauren have always been inseparable, Haley said. At primary school, all I wanted to do was be with my sister. We would share clothes, toys, and have the same interest in TV and books and stuff. We were like celebrities when we were kids. Everyone wanted pictures with us and would ask us how it felt to be twins, but different. To us, it was normal. Lauren said, "People always ask me what it's like, and I say, it's basically like having a best friend. People just don't believe we're twins. We have to get people to Google us." At secondary school, the twins were separated into different classes, but Lauren said we made sure we never were apart outside of school. It was this separation that they credit for each of them now having different interests. Haley is studying drama and theater studies and sociology at college, while Lauren is taking art and business studies. Haley hopes to be a theater producer, while Lauren is still unsure. Lauren said, "We are so the same in some ways. We say the same things at the same time and finish each other's sentences. Sometimes I know exactly what she's thinking, but we are different. Haley likes makeup, and I like video games and vloggers. She's not into that." Despite that, the pair have shared the same room since they were born and wouldn't have it any other way. Haley said, "We've always slept in the same room, even on holiday. I hate it when Lauren goes to stay with friends. I can't sleep without her. She's messy as anything, though, and I'm always tidying up after her. I'm a bit more maternal. Lauren added. It's good to have someone to talk to at night. I love being in her room. We share things and we have heart-to-hearts. Haley is hoping to go to university next year, and I'm not. That's going to be huge, me not having her there. It's going to be so weird, but I'll go and see her loads. Both single, the twins have different tastes in boys. Haley says, we don't have boyfriends. We don't have one huge celebrity crush at the moment, but I like rappers and Lauren likes YouTubers. We're never going to fight over boys. The pair say they are aware that they're also role models to Leah, born with a whiter complexion, and Mia, who has her father's skin tone. Unlike their older twins, the 10-year-olds have grown to look more alike in recent years. Allison, who lives with Paver Dean, 43, in Fleet, Hampshire, said, the younger ones idolize the older ones and are always copying them. It's like having two mini-me's. They are the only ones who know what it's like to be so alike but look so different when they were younger. Leah, who is in the same school class as Mia, shares the same bedroom, said Lauren and Haley, are my heroes. I like my older sisters. We want to be like them when we get grown up, but we don't see them at the moment. They're always at college or work. I always stick up for my sister and pick her up if she falls over. People don't believe she's my twin, but I shout, she's my sister. That's what my older sister did, so I do the same. Mia added, Lauren and Haley are the best. They teach me that it's the best thing in the world to have a twin sister, even if you're not identical. If you thought that this was the unique case, don't miss this twin's interesting situation. She feared she might never be a mother when doctors discovered her 2 wombs, so Jade Buckingham was understandably ecstatic when she ended up giving birth to Cairo. Yet the 25-year-old was even more elated when she found out she was pregnant with twins just 18 months later. Lene and Lavelle grew in separate wombs, a phenomenon so rare that doctors say only has a 1 in 50 million chance of occurring. But that's not the only aspect unique to Mrs. Buckingham's twins. Lene has a darker complexion and dark curly hair, while Lavelle has blonde hair and lighter skin. Mrs. Buckingham from Sutton in Ashfield in Nottinghamshire said, sometimes when we're out and people ask about them, they don't believe they're twins. Sometimes I show them a picture of when they were born. The 25-year-old, who gave birth in 2018, said it took a few months before the twins' true skin color differences began to show. The unlikely event occurs in 1 in 500 sets of twins born to mixed-race couples. Non-identical twins are no more alike than any other pairs of siblings, sharing 50% of their genes. While Lene inherited genes that made her skin darker, Lavelle received genes that made his lighter. Miss Buckingham, a single mother and carer who is no longer with the baby's father, only found out about her unusual anatomy following a string of miscarriages. She had suffered 4 by the age of 17. She subsequently had to undergo a dilation and curettage procedure at Nottingham University Hospital, which clears the uterus lining of any tissue after a miscarriage. During the minor operation in February 2014, doctors spotted that Mrs. Buckingham had 2 vaginal canals known as vaginal septum and 2 wombs, a condition called uterus dilephes. In just 1 in 3,000 women are thought to be born with 2 wombs, which occurs when a developing uterus, which starts off as 2 separate ducts, fails to join together. Medics don't know yet why the condition occurs, but it leaves sufferers with 2 separate uteruses, which are attached to their own fallopian tubes, which can simultaneously release eggs that can become fertilized. Sufferers may also have 2 vaginal canals, like Miss Buckingham. Frequent miscarriages are a telltale sign of the condition, along with pain when having sex, heavy bleeding during periods, and giving birth early. Those with uterus didelphys usually find it no more difficult to get pregnant than those without the condition, but sufferers struggle to carry their baby to full term because their wombs are small, which can restrict the growth of a fetus and cause their baby to be born early. Miss Buckingham said, I was distraught because I always wanted to be a mom. My own mom, Sheena, 42, said she'd be my surrogate if I needed, which was a lovely gesture, but I wanted to experience pregnancy. However, Miss Buckingham found out she was pregnant around a year after her diagnosis and gave birth to her son Cairo, 6, in February 2016. Just 19 months later, she found out she was pregnant again. Miss Buckingham said, "I was, of course, over the moon because I was loving being a mom to Cairo. I'd always worried it might not happen for me, and then to have him alive and well, it was everything I'd ever wanted." But at her 3-month scan, doctors spotted she was pregnant with twins, and one was in each of her uteruses. Medics say that the babies had formed from different eggs with separate umbilical cords and sacs, according to Miss Buckingham. Miss Buckingham said, "When I fell pregnant with the twins, I was over the moon, but it was very scary that they were both in different wombs. I had scans every 2 weeks to monitor the twins' development." She added, "I was quite worried at the time because of my condition and the previous miscarriages I'd gone through. The doctor said I should treat my pregnancy the same as when I carried my son, which was a relief, and I appreciated the regular scans." Just 22 weeks into her pregnancy, doctors told Miss Buckingham that one of the twins, her daughter, Lene, had stopped growing. She was given the choice of delivering both babies early, though she was warned that neither may survive, or continue with the pregnancy, but her daughter may not survive. Miss Buckingham said, "It was a horrible predicament to be in, but I knew I had to keep on going. I decided to carry on with the pregnancy and hoped both would be okay. It was such an anxious time." 3 months later, in April 2018, Miss Buckingham went into early labor and was rushed to the hospital for an emergency C-section. Lene was born at 4:44 p.m., weighing 3 pounds 10 ounces, while Lavelle was born 1 minute later, weighing 5 pounds 2 ounces. Despite being born 6 weeks early, they were perfectly healthy. The twins are now 4. Miss Buckingham said, "I was so relieved when they were both born and safe with me. As newborns, they looked similar, but after a few months, their different skin tone and features began to show through." She said, "Lene was born feet first and Lavelle was born head first. From that moment, I knew they were going to be polar opposites, which they definitely are now. When Lene's hair started to grow, I noticed that she had lovely dark curls and Lavelle had blonde hair with a lighter skin tone," Miss Buckingham added. This was a very big surprise. A mom was left gobsmacked after giving birth to 1,000,000-to-1 twins with completely different skin colors. Chantel Broughton, 29, claimed she regularly gets asked if her babies Aeon and Azira are both hers after she gave birth to them in April. After her son Aeon was delivered in Nottingham City Hospital with fair skin and green eyes, Chantel was shocked to then deliver her daughter Azira, who had a much darker complexion and brown eyes. Such births are so rare, genetics experts have previously estimated them at 1 in a million. Auxiliary nurse Chantel says she looks white but is mixed race due to having a Nigerian maternal granddad, whereas Dad Ashton, also 29, is half Jamaican and half Scottish. The mom of 3 revealed the twins did not look too different from each other at birth, but as the weeks went by, Azira's skin complexion started getting darker and darker. She says the 4-month-old twins now have totally opposite personalities but seem to be getting on well. Chantel from Nottingham said, "I'm so glad they came out the way they are, our own unique little family." Azira was slightly darker at birth, but you couldn't really tell. Now, as weeks have gone on, she has gotten to the point where she is darker than her dad. Every few weeks, friends and family still say they can't believe it. Azira is really laid back and chilled, whereas Ian wants a lot more attention. He's always wanted to be rocked and is constantly babbling along. Azira doesn't do that very often. But I have noticed that they really are staring at each other now and smiling more. I think they will stay like this. I think their hair will be different too. Azira will have thick curly hair and Ion's will be completely different. You can already feel the difference in texture. Chantel says the twins attract plenty of attention when they go out and joked she imagines people believe they have separate dads. She added, "When you've got a twin pushchair, people seem to notice you more anyway." But she said people do a double take when they see her strolling around with Ian and Azira. People just stop and say, "Oh my goodness, they look totally different." I had people ask, "Are they both yours?" she said. So far, Chantel said people react positively to the twins, with lots of elderly ladies telling her the twins are beautiful. She said a lot of the time people don't want to mention it, but when we tell them, they say it's crazy, as you don't see it very often. I wouldn't have it any other way, though. It's certainly unique. Skin color is a very strong example of genetic influence. It depends on the amount of the pigment melanin found in your skin cells, and this amount is predetermined by the genetic blueprint of each cell. There are an infinite number of different skin colors known as phenotypes. These ranges through black, dark brown, brown, light brown to white skin. Each expression of melanin is an accumulating effect on skin tone. In other words, the more there is in each parent's genes, the darker that person will be. Therefore, a baby's color will usually depend on the predominating amount of melanin in their parents. Although, again, it is possible, though fairly infrequent, that dark-skinned parents give birth to a pale-skinned child or vice versa if their own parents or grandparents share paler or lighter than they are. A mixture of several genes is believed to determine human skin tone. It is always possible for a mixed-race couple to have a white or black child depending on their dominant and recessive genes. Non-identical twins share about 50% of their genetic makeup. They can be born with different skin colors when two separate eggs are fertilized by two sperm, meaning they each have a different genetic inheritance from their parents. Simon Fischel, head of the Care Fertility Group Clinic, said, "What is really remarkable is this has happened in two sets of twins in exactly the same way. It's possible but unlikely for the skin colors of twins to be very different." Identical twins have to have the same skin color because they have the exact same genes. They started out as one embryo that split into two. Fraternal twins start as two separate embryos and are as similar as any other siblings. So suppose a black man and a white woman have a daughter. The child has two copies of each gene for skin color, one from her father and one from her mother. From the father, she gets all of the genes for black skin. From her mother, she gets all of the genes for white skin. For every single skin color gene, she has a 50% chance of getting a white one from mom and a 50% chance of getting a black one from mom. She has a 50% chance of getting black or white from dad, too. Although the girls are now used to people often not believing their siblings, they are more than accepting of who they both are.